The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Motor Fast Eddie Lane as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
The views and opinions expressed by the Orc of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, are of my own and no one else, nor do they reflect Beyond Ringside. So, ladies and gentlemen, due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The To Be Determined show, we are live. It is Wrestling Wednesday. So that can mean only one thing. It's smokier in this Bohemian Grove than a newsroom. I am the Orc of Ominous, the architect of intellect, the Wicked Nemesis. And joining me tonight, as always, is my executive producer and host of Beyond Ringside and owner of this very network, the one and only Magic City Motormouth, Bass Eddie Lane.
And I won't just wait every 4 years to say, go Team USA.
That's right. America! Fuck yeah! And my much better half, and sporting a new makeup design of her own. She started, oh God. That's how you really like to start off the show. Angie Nemesis. Angie, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing well. Stop praying. Hopefully.
For now.
For a moment.
Dear God, it's probably going to rain again. So, big shout out to Team USA kicking ass in the Olympics. Hopefully everyone is safe down there and there's no more kayakers knocking over and getting knocked over by sofas floating around in rivers.
Yeah, what is that? I-285 in Atlanta? Oh, wait, no, that's mattresses.
Yep, dude, somebody lost their mattress.
Somebody lost their mattress.
Oh, no, for years. That was a running gag. It was like, when I lived in Atlanta from 89 to 93, if you go up 85 northbound and get on 285 westbound, somehow or another, there's a damn mattress sitting on the median. At first, I thought it was like an undercover thing from the Department of Transportation saying, hey, we got all this, let's go ahead and just set it up on the interstate. Somebody will take it.
Mattress conspiracy.
Well, at least it's not a dead body.
Yeah. No, I'm not running for president either.
No, I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, talk about some mudslinging going on. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere indeed. Barry Allen everywhere.
Everybody burning everybody.
So, we are a couple of shows away for Peach State, or from Peach State, whichever grammar you would like to use. Probably the best, which would be from Peach State. And now, this show and two more away from GCW. So, it's a slow week.
Not really.
For us, but there's a lot of things going on. SmackDown and Raw kicking ass and taking names. Heard that there's a little bit of a slip. We don't know. We missed it this week, so we can't really critique it like we did last week, where we had a step-by-step breakdown of how to do a promo and how not to do a promo.
I'm sorry, I blanked. When you said slip, I thought you were talking about the USA women's volleyball boob and nipple slippage from the game the other day.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Olympic boobies, dude.
All kind of drama going on in Rio.
Actually, let me go ahead and do this one real quick. I have to give credit for everybody rallying for Team USA and for their respective countries, because I give ultimate thanks for the Olympics that once every 3.5 years, we talk about for 6 months, people won't talk about again for another 3.5 years. Truth?
Yeah,
true.
You're right.
Absolutely.
Except for Michael Phelps.
Yeah, and the women's beach volleyball team, which of course is a new incarnation. Kerry Walsh Jennings, of course, with a new partner this year. And I don't think you told me you didn't get a chance to see some of the action from today. Team USA and Switzerland in women's beach volleyball, highly competitive matchup. Loved it. You knew I'd be.
Well, yeah,
Go ahead.
It's always good to be competitiveness. I mean, the Olympics are about, who's the best. You're supposed to be on a level playing field, so it's always good to see great competition.
And, of course, the Team USA men and women pretty much dominant in the basketball department.
Well, they always, I saw that USA had a little bit of slippage against Australia, but that's neither here nor there.
Just a wee bit. Hey, look, we've done remarkably well this year so far, especially with some of the adverse conditions. I just got to sit back and say, thank God it's not the World Cup in Qatar yet, or Qatar, depending on how you pronounce it yet. That's just going to be nuts. Playing soccer on the pitch in 110-degree heat. Screw that.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That's going to be absolutely brutal. But they knew that whenever they picked it up. Want that money, FIFA? There you go. You got it.
UEFA. Actually, this one's UEFA.
Oh, well, anyway, you look. Who gives a shit? They still got
They're all bribed.
Yeah.
They're all bribed. Hell with it.
But we do have to. We can't go any further without mentioning a happy birthday from all of us to the world bearer himself, Scott Morgan. Happy birthday, Scott.
Happy birthday,
Cool.
Scott.
One half of the Violet Gentleman, for those 18 of you that don't know.
That's right.
You should know by now.
Shame on you.
If not, you will very soon.
Absolutely.
So, Eddie, tell us what you thought about Raw and SmackDown.
Look.
We totally-
They are getting things a little bit more even keeled as they're making their way towards SummerSlam. I'm really appreciative, and Mabo brought this up last night, and I had to go back and rewatch it. The fact that the fans are actually getting back in behind Roman Reigns as he is getting ready to take on Rusev for the United States Championship. And, I like Rusev. I like him when he is a dominant bulldozer. Unlike AJ Steele, who is a juggernaut, which I take credit for that nickname. And I've said that before, too. I think I said that on commentary for the last taping. But from there, they're putting things in play to try to shake things up a little bit, and I respect that. I like the factor of the separation. The way that they're building up Orton versus Lesnar, I'm able to get in behind a little bit, but I still, like I said, I see that one going Broadway. I see no contest on that one. Because with Lesnar coming off a dominant performance, doping or no doping, and Randy Orton making his return, how do you sacrifice one of those for the betterment of the other? Do you sacrifice Lesnar and what happened at Mark Hunt? Considering, and if you haven't heard the comments, hard segue, if you have not read the comments by Conor McGregor and the backlash that has been going in his direction, oh boy. This has been hilarious, but I'll cover that a little bit more in depth in a few minutes. But as far as it goes, like I said, the road to SummerSlam, I'm really looking forward to. I could probably do without the SummerSlam weekend concert, even though I am a fan of Flo Rida. I'm a fan of Jason Derulo. I think that they're doing that as part of the Fan Fest, which is really cool. They're not trying to just overload a SummerSlam pay-per-view and make it another 6-hour event, which I really hope they don't. 6 hours to one show is just too much. Unless it's just high quality, grade A, USDA choice porn. But that's just me. But, coming out of last week, how are the two of you feeling about the road to SummerSlam? Even though, like I said, I know y'all didn't catch much of either show from this week, and I know you're going to catch up on that a little bit later in the week. But based on what you've seen, how comfortable are you with the road to SummerSlam?
Well, we saw some highlights of Raw and SmackDown. Dolph Ziggler, Dolph's one of those guys that I'm glad that they're pushing, and they seem to be doing exactly what the brand split should do, and pushing what would be mid-card people to some up to the main event. I definitely like Dolph against Dean. I don't like the Universal title on Raw. That sounds just crazy. And Seth Rollins is awesome. Seth Rollins is great. I can't wait to see Rollins and Finn Balor, ever how you want to say it. It's one of those transitional SummerSlams too, where they've got all this new talent, all these people that they're pushing, and now this is the opportunity for them to be, especially after the brand split. So I think that this will be like a WrestleMania from 3 or 4 years ago that Mabo, you and I talked about. We were like, yep, these are all stars in the making. We're going to look back and be like, yep, so many people had great moments here. And it is. And we do. So that's how I feel about it. I feel that it's going its way, but there's several potholes that they're trying to cover up that have been made beforehand. It's like going and going and going and going and going on the road. Eventually it's going to wear down. Now here you are trying to repave it, and you're going to have to slow down. There's going to have to be new lines painted on the road. There's going to have to be black top, and there's going to be 42 guys standing out there while 3 guys do all the work.
You know, and you brought up Ziggler, and I was going back over today, the video of the day after Mania 3 years ago, where a heel Ziggler came out and cashed in the Money in the Bank case against a babyface Alberto Del Rio. And when his music hit, the roof came off that place. And when he won the title, when they gave him the title, that place was just absolute. I hate to use the word electric. That place was effing nuclear. I have to be careful this week. I used too many last week. And I'm glad to see whoever's in charge trying to find a way to get Ziggler back into that spotlight. I respect that and I appreciate it. I like Ambrose. Don't get me wrong. The promo that he cut and the promos that he's been working towards Ziggler are trying to draw that heel Ziggler back out. But in the process, it's sacrificing the face appeal of Ambrose. Remember, old school rule of thumb. Baby faces don't always have to be cotton candy and Lucky Strike bubblegum. But by the same token, they can't heel out on somebody because it convolutes the message that is being sent by the creative team and by the in-ring performer as to what that character is supposed to be, right or wrong.
Well, it's like Dean Ambrose saving Dolph Ziggler. I mean, that's what babyfaces do. They stand up for the weak, even to their own detriment. I mean, some people are saying, you don't want Ziggler at 100%. Yeah, but sometimes you want the best in somebody to prove that you're the best. It's just a different mindset. I mean, am I right?
No, yeah, absolutely.
And that goes back to exactly what you're saying when you talk about heels and faces. You can have a strong heel, and when they start to be that tweener, though, that's when it gets that gray area. Yeah, and anti-heroes, tweeners, what have you. Some guys fall into that category, but it's just that weird dichotomy. It's that gray area. And sometimes you don't need that. You've got to have straight up heels, straight up baby faces. And no, do they have to be cotton candy, smooth, shiny? No. But they have to connect with the crowd, and that's what a baby face is supposed to do, is connect with the crowd. That's it, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like in the promos. I mean, you and I have both, we've both been heel, we've both been babyface. Angie, you've seen both sides of this coin. It's just there's ways that you go about, and if you're not careful, you lose that dividing line. And not everybody is meant to be the antihero, right or wrong.
Absolutely not. Not everybody can pull it off either. People think they can be. But those people do not know or understand psychology. And that's what it is. When you cut a promo as a heel, you're talking at the fans. When you're babyface, you're talking to the fans. But people don't realize that because they have their promos scripted out and written and handed to them.
Well,
it's not organic.
Generally, you have a mindset going in, and you have a preference. And your career and your mindset is geared toward that preference, and it is hard to change. It's hard to see people out of their element. Some run with it and go insane and do well, and then some don't do well at all. So.
And some baby faces like to stand there and just get cheap pops, and then some hills like to run down the baby faces.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
I still dig Cheap Heat 101. Insult the name of the city you're in. I don't care what anybody says. That is the ultimate form of cheap heat. That's why it is Cheap Heat 101. And Mick Foley tried to turn it into Cheap Pop 101. You know, you've got wrestler.
He did.
Case point scenario. We work with Global Championship Wrestling. Their primary base of operations for live events is Pell City, Alabama, and the Pell City Civic Center. Heel wants to make that impression. Ladies and gentlemen, approaching the ring from anywhere but Pell City, Alabama. Or from Lincoln, Alabama, because it's 10 times as cool as Pell City. You know, you go for that cheap heat. And then, of course, you don't think about the fact that if you're calling the city next door, that you're going to have people from that city, too, so they're going to pop.
Right.
Yeah, but you don't put asses in the seats. You don't sell tickets for the promo like that.
Well, I mean, that's just for the ring announcer to do. But
yeah, but heel ring announcers are fucking retarded.
No.
There's
Okay.
just to that. I mean,
you have to remember, as a ring announcer, you read what you're given.
Eddie, you're not even, look, these motherfuckers go out as heel announcers. They go out, they try to, why the fuck are you trying to get heat? That's why I told TJ, I said, TJ, get the hell out of my way. You're only a camera guy. You put yourself over enough. A heel announcer is a heel announcer, not like behind the desk commentator. That's not what we're talking about, right?
No. I'm talking about as a ring announcer, you read what you are given. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, Lady One Fall with a 30-minute time limit, introducing first from anywhere but Pell City, Alabama, and that's what we're given. As a ring announcer, or from Bohemian Grove, from Pelham, from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, wherever the hell that is. I know exactly. Yeah, it's right next to Parts Unknown.
But people don't think about their character. They come over from Birmingham, Alabama. You're like, from Birmingham, motherfucker, you live 3 miles down the road from Pell. I think you live on Steamley Bridge Road. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But it's just, that goes back to really, really understanding and developing and building a gimmick/character, Eddie.
Right.
But announcers, the cheap heat 101, like that, people don't give a shit about that. Like, people don't go out and think about little cheap heat like that, because guess what? We're in the South, yeah, it pops them, but nobody's going to pay to be like, I want to see that guy get beat up because he insulted Pell City. Where are you from? Oxford?
But it does add more heat to the situation.
On a bigger scale,
the
if you're
event.
going to different cities, that's
Right.
different.
No, I understand.
That's my thing.
I got you. It's all subjective. There's so many variables in it.
Yeah, there is. So, I mean, might as well go ahead and make
so
a
many
fucking
different situations.
a promo algorithm.
There's north, south. There's all kind of stuff that goes
All in the
about.
same house. Gimme, Wild West. Gimme, safe.
Escape Club.
Yeah, sorry, that's a great song.
Yeah, right, it is. The Escape Club. I loved it. They also had a song that was, in my opinion, 20 times better than that, called Call It Poison.
I don't know if I remember that.
Some call it poison, I call it rock and roll.
No, I have not heard that.
Ooh, wait till the break. I'm looking it up.
Oh, God.
You're going to want to play it coming back from break, and I'll get in trouble.
Oh, boy. No. We're not being flagged. We are trying to monetize this. Are we trying?
Yeah, we still are.
Yeah,
No,
For all 7 people that watch on YouTube, yeah, we're still trying to watch.
we got like 10 views. And they're all like Scott Morgan and Double
and we
A.
love you for it.
They're all
Thank you.
wrestlers, so we appreciate every motherfucking view.
That's right.
Thank you, everybody, and hopefully you get to go to the BeyondRingside.com webpage or the Beyond Ringside radio app to check us out as well. Sometimes Ustream works, sometimes it doesn't.
It's working tonight.
Yay, Ustream! Ustream got Eddie went off last week. Ustream was like, oh, we got to correct this shit.
Yeah, it even worked last night for Back to Basics. I was impressed.
Well, look, that's like when people go out and they do these quote-unquote shoot interviews or go out and do interviews and nobody knows them. Nobody has any idea who the fuck these motherfuckers are, and they start calling people out by their real names. Like, big shout out to Chris West. Necro Butcher, that's not Necro Butcher's real name, but, some stupid shit like that. Big shout out to Glenn. What does he go by? Cheetah Paradise. Like, then call him that. Don't fucking call him by his shoot name. It's the same thing as like when people they try to get over and shoot interviews and interviews. Same thing as grabbing a microphone, going out there and be like, hey, Hill City. Somebody write that down. That's trademark. Somebody's going to steal that. Francisco, you cannot use that.
No.
I thought that had been used before.
I don't know if it had or not. I always knew whenever I had a phone, whenever I would try to do Pill City, I'd change it to Well City. Yeah, because they don't want to say Pill City. Nobody wants to spell out Pill City except for Pill City. And the great fans of GCW.
Well, I still prefer.
See, that's a cheap pop. You see how you...
The City of Pill.
City of
I
Pill,
love
yes.
it. Great.
But Eddie, look,
Yes.
you've done 1,000 interviews.
Oh, God, yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, you've done probably
I was
10,000
going to say,
interviews.
probably.
How do you feel when people are interviewed and they go out? You know, a lot of times they're nervous. They go out and they're really trying to cut a promo on air for some ungodly fucking reason. And they start to, like, drop little hints, start trying to make little references that, like, nobody fucking knows.
Okay.
I go with it. Yeah, you do go with it. You're like, yeah, sure.
Of course.
Me, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
For me,
Who
it's
is
all,
that?
for me, it's all about the build-up. Case point scenario, in the modern era, over the last 6 months, when I first brought Eric Wayne back onto GCW Radio, the Dream Killer Eric Wayne, first class, second and third generation pro wrestling superstar, the current GCW heavyweight champion, amongst other title holders. When he first came on to GCW Radio for this round, I treated it like a get reacquainted interview. Because there's a lot of people in central Alabama, over in western Georgia, that don't know Eric Wayne. So I wanted to go a little bit of background, a little bit of current day, and then build into the championship match between him and Spiral. And you know the way I do things. Angie knows the way I do things. Eric remembered the way I do things from a previous one-on-one interview that I did with him. I build into the match, and my trip point is, here's where you switch into character. My trip point is, if there is a specific message you would like to send to fill in the blank, here's your floor. The floor is open. And most people normally catch that. If you're face, you try to build up. If you're heel, you try to lay it out that you're going to tear down your baby face and take their title. Or vice versa, if you're babyface, you're going to tear down the heel and take their title. But you do what has been called for centuries, talk butts into chairs. You can do that on radio. As effective, if you have a clue, you can do it on radio just as effectively as you can a YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, LinkedIn, Google Plus video promo. Because if you're good enough to convey the sentiment and the emotion through simply using your voice and your dialect, then you've got it. You understand it. If you just go, well, I'm going to kick my own ass next Saturday night in Pell City, Alabama, and I'm just going to go out of my way to show that I'm going to piss off everybody. God, I sounded like what's his name from Space Ghost. Damn, I got to remember that voice. It's been a while since I've tried it. But if that's what your idea of a radio promo is, or a podcast promo, depending on who you're talking to, then you ain't got a damn clue. When you are given the floor and a microphone, so to speak, a phone call, in order to convey what people can expect from you, it's actually harder by doing it simply on voice than it is on a video. Video, you can rely on body language and facial expressions. Radio, podcast, that's just you. Remember how you and Sawyer, O'Hagan, J.J. Tanner, Ted Guinness, the whole cotillion, whenever we would host GCW Radio, and one of y'all would always make the comment as we're getting ready for the go-home part, or the final segment and the final minutes of the show, and I start into my recap and setup. And one of y'all would always say, hey, here comes Captain Sincerity. Remember that?
No, I don't.
you even got me on it once.
What?
You even got me on it once.
Captain what now?
Captain Sincerity.
Oh.
Oh, here's where
Not
it.
me. It's fucking lame, Eddie. Whoever the fuck said that is lame. I don't give a shit if it was Dan or whoever. It's fucking lame to say to somebody.
Well,
No, that's not me.
when you're heel, you take your shots. Babyface, I can veil my shots very nicely. Heel, I can just lay them out there. And let the chips fall where they may. But, when I would get to the part about, tickets are only $10, and we know there's a whole bunch of ways that you could spend your money and spend $10 on a Saturday night. And from all of us, we genuinely appreciate the fact that you come out and you spend your hard-earned, which is the damn truth. Any pro wrestling promotion who says we don't want you to come spend your hard-earned money, or they neglect to realize the fact that you're spending your hard-earned money and you have a choice, those fucktards need to go out of business. There's your F word for the week.
Yay.
And it was F-tards.
It was wisely used, Eddie. Thank you.
I decided I've had this word in the pocket for a couple of years. I finally decided to combine effing retard and fucktard. But no. But like I said, I used to get grief every once in a while about the fact that I would sound so overly sincere and scripted when I do that. You know me, I don't do a script. When have you ever seen me read a script other than to cut a radio station promo or a commercial?
You don't use scripts. None of us do.
No.
But I'm sorry, you and I don't.
I just get to...
That's the thing, though, Eddie, hold on. But you can't compare... How long have you been in the business, Eddie?
30 years.
Okay, there you go. You can't take
over
a 30 and talk about what we're seeing guys do now, because it's it's your generation that trained my generation, everybody after us, that a lot of those people were trained wrong.
Right. Correct.
And that's what it goes back to. It goes back to training. And you said you hit the key word. Ding, 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 ding. You hit the key word. Talking asses into the seats. Nobody knows how to talk asses into the seats. And those that do rise to the top. Because guess what? Out of 5,000, let's say there's 10,000 wrestlers in the state of Georgia and Alabama. Let's say there's 3,000.
How many wannabe wrestlers?
Let's say that 3,000 of those make decent money off wrestling. Let's say that 1,500 of those are workers. That is a big drop-off from those that go off and do it. Those that make money and make a living off of it. And those that are workers. That's the key word. Workers. You can't be 18 to 23 in New Japan and ask for 18 to 23-year-old workers, because guess what? There fucking aren't any.
They should have asked for
I'm sorry
18
to
to
say that.
23-year-old robots. They could
Yes,
just
yes.
do what they wanted
That's
to
the-
with. Because that's
you might
what
as
you're
well go
going
ahead
to
and ask
get.
for some fucking sex toys.
Yeah,
because guess
that's
what?
what you're gonna
At
get.
18 to 23, unless they're fucking Chip Day and been wrestling since they were 14,
You're
15,
absolutely
that shit
right.
don't fucking happen.
Yep,
That
you're
shit
right.
does not fucking happen. I'm sorry to say.
How many Chip Days, Corey Hollis's do you know?
I know
Out of-
Chip Day and Corey
out
Hollis,
of that,
that's
I was
it.
going to say, out of that list that you just gave, that's how big the drop-off is. So, yeah,
That's a very narrow window, too.
come on.
18 to 25 is a damn narrow window. Now, I will sit back and say this. There's some kids, oh my God. I've got to throw this one out there. This past Sunday, and I'm not sure about the ages, but I can look them up. Gary J, Stiff Robo Ginger, and Ethan Case tore the effing house down and stole the show in their match at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment this past Sunday. It was fun calling that match. By the way, real quick, special shout out, J. Dude, had a great time calling on the action with you the other night. To the guys over at Kick Out It too, had a good time calling the matches with y'all. We got some it was a lot of fun this past Sunday. And I stayed. I didn't drink until afterwards because it was raining. I was afraid people couldn't drive in Atlanta anymore while it was raining. But these two can light it the hell up. You're right. Chip Day can light it the hell up. Corey Hollis, I'm not sure if he still falls in that 25 window. Kid can effing go. Leo Rush, if y'all have not studied up on Leo Rush, Ring of Honor top prospect, MCW Maryland Championship Wrestling, has been all over the place. This kid is a freaking phenom. Legitimate. He can absolutely fly. It is always fun watching, and I would love to call one of his matches sometime. As a commentator, damn right, I would love to call one of his matches. There are some people out there, like Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor. They've got a young talent base. Some of the X Division in TNA wrestling, and a lot of the guys in the Cruiserweight Classic. You got some amazing talent that is going to hit around 25 years of age. But New Japan, you need to open that bracket up a little bit more, maybe to 27.
I mean, I would say even 225. I'm telling you, 18 to 23 is a very small window.
Yeah.
But they're not going to. We're not the ones booking it, so.
And also for you mentioned age. I'm going to go back for weight for the cruiserweights. 210 is too light. You've got some spectacular light heavyweights that are clocking at 215, 220, 225. For years, the recognized standard for cruiserweight, light heavyweight, junior heavyweight was 225. Now, if you want to bring that to 220 and make it an even number, go with it.
Dude, I say 230.
Nah, 225. When you start, because I also look at the methodology for weights as far as UFC goes and boxing. But the end.
230 though, there's some guys out there that hide their weight well that would not make it in the heavyweight department.
People still have a hard time believing I'm 240.
Dude, that's so weird about GCW in the middleweight. There's so many people when you realize that weight class, when you see the guys that are in that, you're like, oh my God, you're that light.
Yeah.
It's just that's what's great. I was talking to O'Malley, and he said he wanted, I want to try out the middleweight. I told O'Malley, I said, well, first of all, that's your tag team partner. Second of all, do you fucking fit in that weight class? I think your fucking beard does not even fit in that weight class. He swore up and down he did. But, I mean, look at that. I mean, look at that whole cruiserweight, light heavyweight, etc. Phenomenal talent. Now they're wrestling big spots in psychology. That's all I give a shit about. I don't give a fuck you can do a 450 off the top rope. If you can't pin somebody with it, who gives a shit? You know what I can do? So I can knock somebody out in the fucking face and save my body an extra 10, 15 years and get a win. I've done it.
I want to hit this before we go to the bottom of the hour break. Do you remember as everybody still heralds Steamboat Savage Mania 3 as one of the greatest professional wrestling matches of all time?
Yes.
What is one of the things that everybody, including industry insiders, heralds about that match? It was in addition to that,
the cardio,
their utilization of false finishes.
Oh, all the twos, yes. The most 2 counts ever in a wrestling match.
Yeah. Legitimately speaking, I mean, it's like Nakamura Zayn from NXT. Oh my God, that was incredible. Some people put that on the same level as Steamboat Savage. You have to see it to believe it. It was that good. But that was one of the things. Kids, a lot of people, and this goes to a lot of so-called vets too. Before we go to break, I want just one little emphasis point. If you have hit somebody with a top rope DVD and you don't go for the pin, what are you telling your fans? What are you telling the cash-paying public and the people watching on video or on television or on pay-per-view video on demand about your faith in your execution of that move?
Why would you hit a top rope DVD, but yet the guy kicks out? What does that say about the other guy?
There you go. I mean, look, there are some, and we can have fun with this in the next segment. We've covered it before, but there's always room for more. What moves should never be set up or double down?
Oh, yes. Oh, my fucking God, yes.
Oh, what about all the finishers? People keep snatching people up. They'll do 2 or 3
finishers.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. We'll save that. Save all that
Yeah.
for after the break.
Love that.
Oh, God, yes. Well, obviously, we have opened a can of worms.
Yeah, we have.
And that can of worms is not the Suicide Squad. Wait till on DVD.
Yeah.
If you canceled tonight, I was going to go see the movie.
Well, Suicide Squad, I've heard mixed reviews about it.
Same here.
Go out and see it for yourself. I'm not telling you not to, but Suicide Squad, bang, bang. Right here on the To Be Determined Show Live, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com, as well as the Beyond Ringside Radio app.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
The Mad Dog's House of Pain, the only nationally licensed pro wrestling school in the state of Alabama. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, trained by the Junkyard Dog, will be your trainer. You want to be a professional wrestling superstar? Learn from GCW's own Mad Dog's House of Pain. With over 22 years experience, learn from the Mad Dog's House of Pain. 205-567-6482. Start your career today. Call 205-567-6482.
What's up, everybody? It's Stan Grubb for Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio and the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Hey, join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as the triple threat of wrestling radio goes live every week, giving you their thoughts and opinions on the world of professional wrestling. Myself, Brian, and Rob, all live, all here for you. And as my good friend Rob would say, from corner to corner and pillar to post, we bring it to you every week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. BeyondRingside.com and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
The To Be Determined Show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Motor Fast Eddie Lane as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The To Be Determined Show, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com, as well as the Beyond Ringside Radio app. And catching us right now on YouTube as well. Eddie, we were talking about when we went off air, or we went to break, several things. You mentioned the dreaded no move that should be used as a double down.
We're in full agreement on this one. A DDT, not even a double arm DDT, should ever be used as a double down. That should be a finisher. Thank you, Jake Roberts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree with that.
I do too. I agree as well.
Top rope Death Valley driver should never be used as a setup. It should be a finisher.
Absolutely. Any burning hammer, DVD, anything like that should definitely be a finisher.
Yes.
If you take what appears to be a full force shot with an international object, thank you, Ted Turner, that should be done. If you take a chair to the head, I don't know that many people who get slugged with a steel folding chair to the head that actually get up before 5. Do you?
I know one, but he doesn't wrestle anymore.
Or brass knuckles.
Oh, dear God, absolutely not. Once again, that goes back to psychology. Those that have never been in fights, because of anything to the chin, in your hand, a roll of quarters, a roll of pennies, goddamn fucking, just not having your gloves on your hands will knock you the fuck out. I've seen some big motherfuckers get knocked out. I've knocked some big motherfuckers out with one punch to the chin.
You did that to Betty Wap at the gas station 3 weeks ago.
Oh my God!
Baby.
No, that was longer than that. Yes,
I mean,
that exact
come on.
fucking thing happened. That was just bare knuckles. So
He laid this poor kid out at the gas station.
no, fuck him. He was trying to be a badass.
Yeah, that happened.
And I don't know if that's past the statute of limitations. We went out. Anyway, so
Yeah.
yes, an international/foreign object, definitely brass knucks. Done. A spine buster. I've never liked the fact that people use a spine buster or a double down. I mean, Triple H did that. Do his anything? No,
Right.
no. Spine buster is a spine buster. It busts your spine. And there's several people that use a spine buster. Oh my fucking
Mud
God.
bone.
Good God, all fucking mighty. That is the go-to. It
Like,
seems.
Can we just name the go-tos, or are we not going to do that in this part?
We'd be
You can
here
check
all
it.
week.
There's several people that use that we see, and I just look. Especially when commentary with Eddie, or if Eddie and I are watching a match backstage. It spine buster.
Let me do this real quick. Live, men's 200-meter individual relay, a semifinal. Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte finished 1-2 for Team USA to make it into the finals.
Yay! Congratulations. And well done.
Michael Phelps.
And Phelps was a half second faster than Lochte.
Go.
Here's all those PEDs of smoking that weed right there for you.
Hey!
Half second advantage.
You can do a lot of shit better on weed. Trust me.
Yeah, like live. But
No
another
kidding.
move that should not be a double down. Of course, the DDT is one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Obviously, as everyone knows, like I lose my mind over that. What is another move a lot of people use for a double down?
Okay, not necessarily a double down, but a setup point for Cena. The FU, or the attitude adjustment, off the top turnbuckle. And they kick out of that.
Wait, they kick out of his finisher off the top.
Yes.
rope.
Yes.
They won't kick, but they won't kick out of it off his shoulders.
It depends on what phase of the match they're in. Remember, we live in an era right now where it is fashionable to kick out of finishers and ruin them, but still come back 5 minutes later and use that same finisher. Remember how many times The Rock and Stone Cold used the rock bottom and the stunner in their last major encounter? They went back and forth on those finishers.
And I hate that fucking match. I'm
Super
sorry,
cool.
I cannot stand it because they fucking hit so many finishers. I'm like, God damn. Let's just let everybody know, hey.
I know. I mean, let's what happened as a result of that? It just got.
Or Shawn Michaels' super kick. Hunter Hearst Helmsley's pedigree, where you're getting teabagged to the back of your head and your nose driven through the freaking mat.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one of those moves nobody should kick out of. And I'm telling you right now, one move that nobody should kick out of, we're kind of transitioning into that. It's a double downs move that nobody should kick out of. Fucking Emerald Fusion. A Shining Wizard. Nobody, I'm telling you, right, fucking anybody that's just been clipped in the side of their head knows that shit hurts. Thank God Nakamura, nobody kicks out of that. Because if they kick out of that, man, fuck them. Fuck them. Might as well go ahead and be like, waka waka waka. Ozzy Bear and Kermit the Frog in the ring. Because you're fucking puppets. Or a fucking Muppet with somebody's hand up your ass. Not Oscar, the radioactive monster that lives on Sesame Street. Not that.
Right.
What's another move nobody should kick out of?
Let me give you this. Let me also give you this one. Remember, okay, it's been a while back, and I want to say it was either Money in the Bank. Yeah, it was Money in the Bank, where CM Punk went over Cena on the last public night of his contract to get the WWE Championship and kissed Vince and the company bye-bye for a couple weeks. When Punk went over Cena, Alberto Del Rio was called down to the ring with his Money in the Bank case. Del Rio got into the ring. Punk did a spinning ankle kick, or spinning heel kick, technically. Spin kick to the side of ADR's head, and he dropped like a brick and rolled out of the ring. When you have the background, publicly stated that you have an expertise in a discipline and you utilize that discipline, that should be good as gold. Punk with Muay Thai. Exactly. I understand the concept. He's lethal on those kicks, with or without kick pads, with or without boots. But ADR sold that spinning kick perfectly.
Yeah, that's because ADR has been knocked the fuck out in an MMA fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the second generation. What is it? Is he second or third
I think
generation?
he's third.
He's third.
He's third. Well,
Yeah.
third generation wrestler. That is in your fucking DNA.
That's a big dude too.
Yeah, he's huge. But his dad's big too.
Yeah.
His dad was bigger.
Dad's big, but that's just that. But that's also having respect.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, if they tell me, hey, you're going to run down with the money in the bank, you're going to cash in, Punk's going to hit you with something, and that's what we'll go from there. We'll just save the. He could hit me with a thumb to the eye. If they're telling me I'm not going over, I'm going to act like he knocked my fucking eyeball out. Because guess what? That means something. That title means something. Cashing that in means something.
Right.
But that's just me. Like, I would rather a motherfucker walk over to me and me sell it well instead of them knock the fuck out of me and me be like, oh, motherfucker, it is over now. We are fighting right here in front of 400 motherfuckers. You take my fucking earrings out, my eyebrow rings. Are we good? Okay, now fuck it. We're fighting.
I'm going to bring this person back up. CM Punk. And remember, we're 5 years now. 5 years removed from the almighty and much vaunted Summer of Punk. That so many people in the IWC, so many fans, so many wrestlers, so many workers, promoters, everybody talked about was the second coming of Austin McMahon. Except it turned out to be Austin Triple H and just kind of started going, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't on Austin McMahon level. Sorry, that's impossible. You have to have every combustible element in place for that to work out. And remember, CM Punk Triple H, Summer of Punk, was not Attitude Era. Austin McMahon was Attitude Era, and that timeline was just pure magic. But when for the Go Home Raw, before the Night of Champions matchup between Punk and Triple H, they went back and forth, microphone gold. But then all of a sudden, Punk's mic started cutting out. Triple H handed him his mic. You want to say it so bad? Here, take this one. That microphone went out. Then lo and behold, and here's the only problem that I had, but I was okay with it after looking at it again. When Punk got the third mic and hesitated and then popped Hunter, and when Hunter sold it coming back up, leaning up from laying down, from taking the bump, he was covering his eye. That in and of itself made it believable. If you pop somebody on top of the head with a traditional microphone, you are, especially if they've got a buzz cover over it, you're going to have to wail the crap out of them. Not just one shot. But Hunter sold it as a shot to the eye. One of the most vulnerable parts of the human body, except for the nuts, guys. And that's what made that moment believable to me. But normally when you use a microphone as a weapon, you better be 3 times the size and 4 times as strong, or it's just not going to look right. Agree or disagree?
I don't know. Ask JP.
Okay.
That was a joke.
I was going to say, are you talking about JP McGregor or JP Magnum?
Yeah, no, JP McGregor.
That's,
oh my God, can we say JP Magnum's name on here? Will we get in trouble?
This is to be determined. This is to be determined. What the fudge?
Oh God!
Hey, for the 382 times you've gone off about your favorite person in Ringgold, Georgia, I think we can afford one mention of JP Magnum. Make that 3.
One half of the greatest GCW tag team of all time. The
Moneymakers. He and Theodore Tutwiler III.
Amen.
And were they cross-managed, or were they just them?
No, they were cross-managed.
Okay. Also, another one of the best managers to ever come out of the southeastern U.S., and that's the legal Howard C. Cross. When he's on top of his game, the man cuts gold on a microphone. And that's where I really have a very unique circumstance, because with you, Says, Cross on the same show, all 3 in voice box roles, don't Don't ask me to pick a favorite because all three of you have unique qualities that you bring to a microphone that you lend to the atmosphere of the moment. And it's just fun to watch all three of y'all work.
Well, usually whenever they get on the microphone, I usually don't get microphone time. It's very rare that all three of us get to speak on the mic, which I understand. Believe me, I wouldn't give me the microphone either. It is a goddamn fucking... You might as well be the deer hunter handing me a microphone. And that's the thing is, like, you know, Punk got to go out there and say whatever he wanted to. Anybody can go out and have a pipe bomb. I mean, that's just me. Like, if you can go out there and say, hey, you can go out there and say whatever you want to. It's another thing to go out and call a promoter that's sitting in the audience, knowing I've got to go back and answer to two people that I actually respect. But you know what? I didn't respect that motherfucker sitting there in that damn audience. It's just what it is. You got to take your bumps and bruises, and you can point and I'll tell you right now, Howard, the greatest GCW manager of all time, hands down. Do not let anyone tell you anything different. He is the greatest GC. You will never make another one of him. You could clone that motherfucker and it would not come out the same.
Agreed.
Simon is a wrestler who started off as a manager. Once again, trained as a wrestler. So it's an entity all its own.
And he's hella smart.
Oh yeah, he's fucking smart.
Well, so is Howard C. Cross, for that matter.
Oh yeah, they're both smart as fuck, and they both, like Eddie said, they both bring something different. And then you have me that goes out there, and people are like, "Oh my god!" You want to talk about turning the mic off? I'll look over there sometimes at Eddie, and Eddie will look at me, and Eddie's just like, "Wick." Eddie knows. He's like, "We're live." I'm like, I know we're live. I don't care. Unless we see something happen, and then, you know, I look at Eddie and I'm like, that just happened?
Yeah.
Live? Peach State's the worst.
We know.
Because when they give me a microphone at Peach State, oh my god. And think about all the people that are great microphone workers at Peach State and at GCW. There are guys that aren't managers that are great talkers. They talk people into seats.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's going back to, you know, talking on the mic and fans. I think that's the thing about you. You're definitely not a baby face. But what connects you and the fans is your hate and disdain for
Stormy?
Well, yeah, that's probably the biggest one. People hate her, and you hate her, and that brings people together. Isn't that sweet?
But
thank God.
I mean, but you know, it's the connection once again with the fans. Like when you go out and you berate the fans, and you don't do it with a wink and a smile,
or intelligent, and
when you just go and be like, "I hate you, I hope you die," like that's not getting like people. That becomes that New Jack heat to where they don't want to see you. They're not booing you because they don't want to. They don't want to see you win. They want you to fucking get hurt, or they don't want you back.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the type of heat.
I have to say this. This past Sunday, and every time I've worked an AWE live event, and fans, I'm not picking on any company whatsoever. I'm not picking on any fan base whatsoever. I have to smile and internally applaud. Sometimes I just outright clap when I hear fans after a damn good match for somebody who's coming in their first time around, when they get a "please come back" chant from the fans, and not everybody gets it. I just smile on the inside because I see fans that get it. And when they break into, whether it's one or two starting it off and the rest jumping on board, or whether it starts out loud, a "please come back," that's just huge in my book. And I genuinely believe, and for the people who listen to this show and the Beyond Ringside family of shows who understand this and get this, when we come out in a brand new area first time, okay, we have the assurance of the promoter. We have the assurance of the locker room, or at least most of them. But whether you're an announcer, a manager, a referee, in-ring talent especially, when we get something like that back from the people, I don't care if you're heel, face, brain dead, carpal tunnel syndrome, impotent, whatever, you still can't help but appreciate it. Even if you don't visibly sell it if you're a heel. But when you get that from the fans and you can tell it's sincere, that means the world. Know what I mean, Vern?
Oh, but no, I usually most places that I start off, I've been heel for so long. Like the places I work now is babyface. I come back at Peach State and turned quote unquote face. I turned face at UIW with the whole thing with Mad Dog. We were turned face at GCW. In Anarchy, when I first ever went babyface, the fans turned to us like there was no way. It was like literally like what happened at GCW is we walked backstage and Eddie was there. Joshua Hagan was standing right beside us, and Dan and somebody. We were peeling back the curtain a lot. Oh no!
You went to the common area where the two monitors are set up.
And I was told, well, guess you guys are face now. And it was just like that. But the fans connected with us.
Yeah.
We saw it happen at Peach State. At Peach State, those fans hated me so much that Clyde and Steve were getting cheered. I was getting booed for the history I'd had there. Like, what you call riots there. That's when...
You give folks heart attacks.
When you call somebody almost die there, and we were that close.
When the event has to be put on halt.
we were that close to getting a blessing and Patrick dying.
Yeah, but he shook your hand because your face, and he gets
that motherfucker tried to hand me a garbage can in the middle of the temple.
Yeah, he did. To hand to Shane, wasn't it?
Yes.
Give that to Shane. But he shook your hand and he said something about no hard feelings.
Yeah, he said no hard feelings. I said, Patrick, I punched you in the face last year. Get out of here.
All is forgiven, he said.
But there's a different type of heat, and here's what it is. If you consistently berate the fans, if you consistently insult the fans, if you consistently get that white hot heat, and you never get your comeuppance, that's when it sours.
Yeah.
You have to have your comeuppance. I know any storyline, any angle I'm in, I know as a heel going in, I'm going to get my comeuppance. Because guess what? The promoter may not say it, I'm going to make sure of it. Because then they're not going to want me to come back.
Right.
They're not going to want you to work there if the fans are like, I'm not showing up because Wicked Nemesis said this. But if you're like, Wicked Nemesis called me a sheeple and he screamed at my daughter. Wicked Nemesis is wrestling in 2 weeks. I'll be there to see him get his ass kicked. He's going to get what he deserves.
Yeah.
That happened at Peach State. Like, that little girl screamed at me and I screamed back in her face. And her dad wanted to send me the message. You know, I read it live on air on the To Be Determined show back when it was To Be Determined. I read that message there. And I knew that I was going into the steel cage. And that's why I was doing that. A lot of heels think that they're never going to get touched. That's why Tommy Too Much does what he does.
Tommy Too Much is.
Tommy
That's
Too
why
Much
he's
knows
amazing. Yeah.
that he's going to get his comeuppance.
Yep.
But he'll push those boundaries as far as he can. Guess what? He puts asses in the seats.
He absolutely does.
Guess what? That's why he gets to do what he does. Guess what? He busts his ass to get to that point.
That's right.
But once again, it's about how you were trained and how you were brought in.
Well,
Eddie.
Yes.
The 5 years. Punk. You have a little bit of a clip. Maybe we won't get sued for it.
No, we won't.
Okay, thank God. Every time we bring up a clip, I'm like, ooh, like last week with AJ and Cena, I was like, please don't flag us WWE. Thank God. Thank God. But set this up for everyone, sir.
5 years ago, starting at starting before SummerSlam, you had the storyline where CM Punk was coming up to the visible and the public end of his contract. CM Punk was getting ready to challenge John Cena for the WWE Heavyweight Championship, WWE Championship at the, what was that, TLC pay-per-view. Back when it was still a pay-per-view, kids. Not just a live event on the WWE Network that can be obtained for only $9.99. And they went through the whole scenario. I mean, building beautifully Punk versus Cena. And then you had the addition of Vince McMahon trying to re-sign CM Punk, and then turn around from there. Punk calls out the fact that Vince has no faith in John Cena to retain the title, and that Punk's just going to go ahead and kiss everybody bye-bye. And then, the in-ring contract negotiations, where Vince broke kayfabe and called Punk Phil. I about felled the frack out.
Yeah, but he does that as a power, and you know that. He does that to be like, watch what I can do. I'm going to call him by his real name.
And he went with it.
I've got power.
Oh, he went with it. I mean, it was beautifully done. You could tell that Vince was uncomfortable in a couple of things, especially when Punk started making a reference to what got his mic cut the week before. And that was when he started to make a reference to the anti-bullying campaign, which is Vince's baby. You can take shots on Vince, you can take a couple of shots on the family, you can take a couple of shots on the company, but when it comes to be a star, he took that SOB seriously and to heart and would kill anybody who crossed it. That's why Punk's mic was cut when he had the almighty sit-down pipe bomb. And I still enjoy to this day how that term has been so misused and misconstrued. You listen to this show especially, and you hear us make a reference to a pipe bomb. We get it. We understand it. We know that there is a difference between a worked shoot, a work, and a holy crap, they just said that. A pipe bomb is a fraction of a worked shoot that is a legitimate shoot, that there's no tap dancing around a holy shit moment on air. And Punk was good about finding those, but if you don't think for one hot second that he had 99% of them cleared before he said something, try again. I don't care what Phil Brooks says. But by the same token, I have a world of respect for what he did on the microphone and in the ring. I miss CM Punk in WWE. And when it came to the contract negotiation with Vince, he even brought up the factor of the ice cream bars. Well, after this was all over with and they were doing the storyline where they were building toward Punk and Triple H, which is where I'm going to pick this up from. Because everybody knows Punk went over Cena, kissed Vince and the company bye-bye, left for a couple of weeks, came back, confronted Cena, and they're building up to SummerSlam. And after that, they're going for Night of Champions, where it's going to end up being Hunter and CM Punk. And a fan during Punk's promo shouted out the words ice cream bars, and just within split second, Punk comes back with,
"Then where are my WWE ice cream bars?"
And the crowd went nuts. Now, when you hear something, I'm turning this back to us for a second, but I'm also going to lay this out to you. BeyondRingside.com is where the chat room's located. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, at the TBD Radio Show on Twitter. We'd love to find out what's on your brain. If you're listening live or listening on replay, please let us know. Agree, disagree, you're more than welcome to your opinion. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree and get along great. But when you hear a moment like that, and I know you've been a part of one, I've been a part of one, where a fan has said something when you're in mid-stride and your brain just clicks going, that's too damn good to pass up. Right, Wick?
Oh, y'all have been there. What are you talking about? You guys have been there when this happened. It is on GCW probably season 4. Where that exact same thing happened, and I acknowledged the fan. But I mean, but you're making them part of the show. That's what they pop. That's what gets them really into it. Is whenever you acknowledge them and make them a part of your promo or what have you, your match. So.
See, I have a slightly different perspective because I'll sit back and say you can actually acknowledge what was said without acknowledging the fan and making that fan a part of the show. But it's different strokes for different folks on that.
Well, when you have Peanut running around going, card, trying to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
when you set up a banner for a podcast, I mean, you know. Pipe bomb.
Say what?
Expected that opened up and it was like, that's how quick it happens. So throw me something else and I'll use it in there. So I just did it to Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm just playing good, sir.
Now, I have to sit back and say, we've talked about on this show on numerous occasions the art of the promo and how it is you have even on a localized level. And before I play the clip, I want to get your input on this. You can be, and I'm going to rehash this, you can be flawless, virtually flawless in the ring and still not connect with the fans. True or false?
Chris Benoit. As having no charisma, Dean Malenko, Dylan Cook.
Oh, no, he showed a little bit that night against Joey Lightning. And Joey Lightning showed me a little bit.
He sure as fuck did. And now he's done it twice. Do one more that's called a charisma series.
It is. But here's where I'm going with this. Because as Punk was incessantly reminding everybody about that glass ceiling and the imaginary brass ring, Triple H turned it right back on him as Punk was acknowledging the fans.
Are you listening to him? No, I am Punk, and that's today. And that's where you've changed my opinion. You see, it's the first 6 years that you bitch about incessantly where you didn't get that reaction, but yet you thought for some reason you were being held back. You see, it's not about my opinion, it's about theirs. You want to be a star? All you have to do is get over with them. Those people, when you get them on your side, will come in droves to see you, Punk. And when they do, you'll get everything you ever wanted out of this business. You won't have to go and make phone calls and beg and plead to be on the cup at 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven will call us and demand that you're on it.
Wick, your thoughts? Angie, your thoughts?
I fucking have forgotten about that.
Wow.
That is he okay?
That's how
That's
you
wrong.
come back.
Oh, you can say, "Oh man, that's so wrong. That's so wrong." But is he incorrect?
No, he's dead on it.
He's fucking that's spot on the nose.
Absolutely.
But once again, that is CM Punk going out and saying his pipe bomb, doing all this, saying all this shit, blah blah, and that is Triple H telling him to his face what someone should have told him backstage.
Yep.
If you want to air everything out in public, you know what? You're going to run across someone like Triple H, which is great. Did he backstage and politic and do everything to get where he did? Sure as fuck did. Did CM Punk stab people in the back and get backstage politics to get where he was? Sure as fuck did. The difference is one of them's Triple H, one of them is Phil Brooks wrestling in the UFC in a few months.
2.5.
Whatever.
And we talk.
He went on, look, I say this once again. He went on Colt Cabana's podcast. He said some really great things that should have been said. But he went on there and it was worse than an Aaron Lewis solo CD.
Damn.
Like a little bit of whining. I'm a depressed, moaning motherfucker. Like, I can take that. But goddamn it, I cannot take 4 hours of a fucking where you keep saying the same thing over and over again. You keep burying everybody. You keep talking about this. You keep talking about that. There were about 5 great things he said. Great things he said in that 4-hour interview. And I know I take heat for it. I don't give a shit. You go back and listen to those 2 podcasts that he did with Colt Cabana.
Yep.
That 4-hour podcast. Go back and listen to it. He bitches and whines through 90% of it. Those pipe bombs, when the pipe bomb shit happened, I was like, oh fuck, I cannot believe they're letting him get away with that. I even went on fucking shoot finish and fucking said such. But like I said, anybody, when you can say what you want to, anybody can get over like that. I could go out and say a couple things about some of the people at GCW and people will be like, holy shit, that's not going to put asses in the seats. Triple H just hit it straight on the head. That is exactly right. If you got that fucking chant, they would pay to see you every time. People would pay for your merchandise. They would go out. You would see an increase in attendance when you're champion. When your guys are on top, you'll start to see an increase. You'll see people that you haven't seen in a long time start to come back if you're on the independent circuit. You'll start to see other merchandise start to come off. There are numbers behind that. There are numbers that can prove that. And he is exactly right. If CM Punk were everything that he said he was, 7-Eleven would have definitely asked for him. They didn't ask for him. But that is Triple H just digging what he already did. He embarrassed Punk. This wasn't AJ Styles and John Cena embarrassment. And believe me, that was fucking embarrassing. That was fucking hard to watch. This is the dichotomy. These are polar opposites. These are two people going out and quote-unquote shooting. One talking business, one talking about himself.
There is one other clip that I'd like to run. It comes from the same night. And like I said, for those of you just joining us, welcome into the To Be Determined show. The Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, your host, Angie Nemesis. His co-host, I'm show producer Eddie Lane. The Rob Rod, thank you for popping into the chat room. Great to see you. Daryl B, thanks for popping in a little bit earlier tonight. To everybody who's been coming through the chat room. Also, if you're listening on
Hello, you're not show producer, dude. You're executive producer / showrunner. You're like for Lanny of this universe. I mean,
although there are times I feel more like Lenny and Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley, but hey, what the hell? Hello.
Which one of us is Lenny? Which one's Squiggy?
No, I feel like both of them.
Oh, well, go fuck yourself. Anyways, continue on, sir. I apologize.
If anything, you would be Lenny and I'd be Squiggy. I would be the shorter one with the darker hair. You'd be the taller one that actually makes more sense most of the time.
Yes. What's that, Chris McDonald? What's his name?
I don't know, but I miss Norm McDonald's as Colonel Sanders.
Oh, Norm, yes. Oh, Norm. One of the greatest comedians of all time. But anyway, sir, continue on.
As this started to wind down, everybody who understands the art of the promo realizes that you have to put things in a perspective at the end and tie things up with a nice, neat little bow. This is the portion that you cannot go abstract. You cannot go impressionistic. You cannot go all the way out to Uranus and come back around through Saturn. You have to go to the moon and back one way. Round trip technically, but still. Because you want your message to be clear. You want to evoke the emotion that the situation calls for. If you cut a 6-minute promo and the final 30 seconds of that are haphazard horseshit, then you've just wasted everybody's time. If you cut the first 5 minutes hodgepodge and the last minute you jump on a bulldozer and drive straight to the point, you will, for everybody who has been in this business more than 2 years that has an IQ above dried wallpaper paste, you get where I'm going with this. For fans of professional wrestling, longtime fans of pro wrestling, you understand where I'm going with this. Some of our younger fans may not totally get it because they're used to seeing a diluted different style of product than what a lot of us came up on. No disrespect intended, just the sheer God's honest truth. On that night, that Go Home Raw, before Hunter Punk, Hunter put everything in perspective, and this is a 1 minute and 16-minute clip. But you have to listen to the whole thing to get where I'm going with this. You've heard the phrase, go home. You've heard the phrase, take it home. This is the best way that Hunter Hearst Helmsley, John Levesque, could have put it in play to Phil Brooks, CM Punk, before that match.
I was handed nothing. I busted my ass and I sacrificed for this business. You're damn right you did. And congratulations. That's what you do to make it here in the WWE. You bust your ass each and every night. You leave it all in this ring. The blood, the sweat, the tears, all of it. That's what you do. You're handed nothing. But here's the thing. That's how you get over in this business. Whether it's your warped internet philosophy, if that doesn't match for you, that's a fact. That's how you get over in this business. But this is not about business. This is going around in a circle here.
Here we go.
This is about me and you.
Boom.
And this isn't business. It's personal. You made it personal. I tried to keep it business. You made it into a personal issue. That's why this Sunday, you were going to step into the ring. No disqualification. Anything goes with me. Not the businessman, not the COO, not the multiple-time world champion, not the game. Quite frankly and quite simply, just a man. A man you insulted and a man that is going to kick your ass.
Wick, Angie, your thoughts?
I mean, he drove it home, just like you said. He wrapped it up. It's about you and me, and it's personal. But it's about a man. I'm surprised they didn't fucking start using shoot names.
They did earlier in that spot. I just decided not to go all the way back for that. I wanted to keep the pertinence of it.
Well, I definitely don't remember that promo right offhand like that. I barely remember my own, but yeah, I mean, that's how you cut a promo. But that's the difference. All CM Punk did when he would get on those would be whine. He just kept whining and whining and whining, and I was like, oh my God, please. It's like Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt cuts great promos, but guess what? They don't fucking mean anything. They don't put asses in the seats. It's all jargon. He doesn't sell tickets with his promos. That's why his ass is fucking stagnant. That's why he stays where he is. He gets over with the fans that are already there. He doesn't put new fans in the seats.
We can agree to disagree on this one because with the way that Bray Wyatt's been on and off, when you rely too much on the Wyatt family as a faction environment, your message becomes a little bit diluted. It doesn't always if you're the only one talking, but if you have multiple attention points in your promo, visual attention points, people have a tendency to lose track. Focus groups have shown that. Studies have shown that. When it's Bray, direct to camera or direct to the talent, it's an entirely different animal. But with Bray, what they've been doing with him the last 2 weeks on SmackDown has actually helped to boost his character. Now, I agree. For the fans in attendance, they feel it's money well spent when Bray Wyatt takes a microphone and talks about Follow the Buzzards and Sister Abigail and all the Fireflies and, going abstract. Because we live in a world now where abstract is the norm. Common sense doesn't exist. Common sense is uncommon. The abstract gets over. But when it comes to his in-ring work, that brings people into the seats. Because people will talk about a Bray Wyatt match faster than they'll talk about a Bray Wyatt promo. Agree?
Disagree.
Okay.
I disagree with that because that's all I ever hear about is this promo. I'm like, yeah, but how was the match? It was okay. Like, what? Yeah. And people compare Reverend Dan and myself in promos. And I say, yeah, you're exactly right. He's at WWE. Reverend Dan's a lot of things. I put asses in the seats. Like, when I'm working heel on my abstractness, go back and listen to any of my promos. I wrap them up, and then I present them to the people. They open them up, and then they're like, oh, I can't wait to see this motherfucker get his ass kicked. The good thing was, thank God,
I'm good.
Hate to see my ass kicked.
I'm not going to say this as a friend. I'm not going to say this as a brother. I'm not going to say this as a colleague, a coworker, or a compatriot. You can sit back and say that you put asses in the seats all you want to, but folks, I will sit back and say this from me to you. That motherfucker puts asses in the seats.
Thank you, Eddie. You used your F-bomb on me, your second one.
No. He's on fire.
You kept me going. Anyways,
Because
Eddie, how can everyone get in touch with you, sir, and what does this very radio station have upcoming?
I thought for a minute you were about to say this very ring. Wrong station. How is Nick doing? Oh, shoot. But in all sincerity, live programming will resume here on Beyond Ringside Sports Radio and ProWrestlingRadio.net on Thursday, August the 11th, 2016, with the Shooters Gallery. Shane Knowles, Stan Grubb, yours truly, back at it. 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central Time. Took last week off because Shane, Stan, and the guys from Corner to Corner were all up in Charlotte, North Carolina for the Legends Fest. Greg Price, my hat is off to you once again. Everything that I've heard about Legends Fest this year has been tremendous. So, dude, my hat's off to you once again. Another job well done. Things are in the air for this Sunday. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment has a live event this coming Sunday, and I am scheduled to be working with them on commentary. I think that's going to be the last event that they have for probably the next month. The Season of George Part 3 for the new third season. I'll get it right in a minute. Trust me. You know me. My brain gets ahead of my mouth, and my mouth starts glitching out, and that's my fault. And yes, that's what she said. But we're going to keep everything in play. I just received audio from Stan Grubb from Corner to Corner, a couple of episodes that they put up. So I'm going to get those loaded onto the stations and in rotation as quickly as I can. So I'll keep everybody posted as what's going to happen with Beyond Ringside Live with Corner to Corner and the Midnight Black Mass for this Sunday, because I know Reverend Dan's got a shit ton of stuff to talk about. Also, from that vantage point, next week, the Double Play returns. That is going to be on Tuesday, August 16th. GCW Radio returns live, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time. Back to Basics goes to its bump time of 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central Time. Remember, you can catch us all the way across the web. So many different sources. I wish I had my little cheat sheet. That way I could run them all down. Matter of fact, I do. Live for Beyond Ringside Sports Radio and ProWrestlingRadio.net. You can catch us through those two websites. The Beyond Ringside Radio app for Amazon, Android, and BlackBerry. The TuneIn Radio app. Ustream and Ustream Mobile. RadioGuide.fm. Streama.com. RadioShaker.com. And about 6 other live sites right now that I've got to go back and update my notes. And there's a number of ways that you can catch us on replay. But, of course, keep your eyes open on the media page at BeyondRingside.com. Always a great place because you've got a full archive of previous episodes, complete broadcast episodes, and interviews. For me personally, FastEddieLane.com, LAYNE is my home site. Once again, to everybody with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, I had a blast this past Sunday. The new media department here at Studio One says thank you to the front office of AWE for pushing the hell out of the Snapchat filter from this Sunday. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And so does New Media. From there, we're looking forward to a lot of things going on. And don't forget, what is it, the 20th? Back at Peach State Wrestling Alliance. The To Be Determined show will be in full force that night. And then, of course, on August 27th, I'll get it right in a week or two, Wick and Angie will be back in full force with Global Championship Wrestling for the Summer Sizzler Series. I will not be there that night. I have a prior engagement. Wick, back your way.
Angie, how can everyone get in touch with you?
On Facebook, Angie Kazarian. On Twitter, Angie_Nemesis. And on Instagram, Ginger Goddess 1.
And of course, myself at Wicked Nemesis on Twitter, the Wicked Nemesis. The Sevenfold Saints, the Violent Gentlemen, the To Be Determined Show, the Unlucky Charms, and the Merchants of Death all have Facebook fan pages. Give us a like and a share. Thank you for everyone. That's a new word.
Do me a favor.
Thank you for everyone that has joined us this evening. And thank you to everyone that is catching us on replay. We do appreciate every view, every listen. Big shout out. Keep it real, homie.
Go Team USA!
Do me a favor, real quick. For everyone who catches the YouTube replay of the To Be Determined show, our ears are open if there is a quote or a phrase. It can be inspirational, it can be sarcastic, it can be funny and humorous, it can be deep and thought-provoking. At Wicked Nemesis on Twitter, at Angie it's Angie Nemesis on Twitter, right?
Yes.
Okay. Catch them on Twitter or post it to the To Be Determined Show fan page over on Facebook. Or leave it in the chat room, beyondringside.com, and say, this is for TBD. Give it a listen. Give it a look. And like I said, Wick and Angie are the final judges. I just put them together. They're the final say as to what goes up on the YouTube show. So if there's a cute little phrase or a sarcastic one-liner that you think fits in with the chemistry we have around here, send it to them. They'll take a look at it. If they like it, they'll shoot it to me, and we'll get it in rotation for all to see on our YouTube show.
And a big shout out to everyone that takes the opportunity just to listen even for a few minutes of this show, because maybe, just maybe, you might learn something and we can all grow together. For Viagra, peace up. A-Town down. For Fast Eddie Lane.
A-Town. See you Sunday.
For Angie Nemesis.
Good night.
I am the Oracle of Ominous, the Architect of Intellect, the Wicked Nemesis. Good night. Good luck. Don't be a maybe. Be a definite. Forever forward. Jacoby Boykins.
Amen.